The first impression that comes to our mind about any college: tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects. Nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.
Very good morning to one and all present here. And now I, Raj Kakkar, second semester student of DMA Media School, would like to welcome you all to the third day of this One Way Development Program initiative for students. It's called DPS 2021. Now, this One Way Development Program is an initiative taken by DMA Media School for the academic and the overall development of the students. And our guest here for today is RJ Swati. And she's a radio jockey and a host of India's biggest radio station, 93.5 Red FM. Ma'am, today we'll talk about how radio as a communication medium has been redefined during the pandemic. Now, I'd like to invite Dr. Amrish Saxena, Dean DME Media School, to address the gathering.
Thank you, Yuvraj. So this is the third day of the program that we conceived and started, which we call it as a development program for students. We designed it in a different manner. Normally, in an educational institution, we are in a habit of conducting faculty development programs and such kind of things, wherein more emphasis is on the development of the faculty members. So obviously, the objective is that they can teach better and they can take care of the students in a better manner. Our responsibility is, as we look at, is confined mainly taking classes of the students and doing all that which is necessary for their all-round growth. But then we thought that during this time of pandemic, all the classes are happening online, but as far as their overall growth is concerned, the kind of co-curricular or the extracurricular activities we could have organized in a physical mode, all that is not possible. So we thought to conceive a program on the lines of FDP, and that is how we named it as a development program for students. And then to have different sessions on different branches or different areas of media, and all that in the light of this pandemic, because pandemic, this COVID-19 is one such thing that each one of is affected in one way or the other. So as far as the media is concerned, the present status of media and the growth of media is concerned, it has also affected a lot. So we need to understand as to how radio or television or print media has got affected in the light of this COVID-19. So that is how this whole program is there. And today we have RJ Swati with us to talk about radio, as to how radio has been redefined, how the radio has been changing. And it started changing, in fact, since last year when the COVID-19 struck first time, the first wave, we can call it, since the second wave we have very recently witnessed, and the adverse things which happened that also we have witnessed. So it's almost an year and the things are changing in every discipline, in every branch of media. So today we will be talking about radio, and in every area we invited some such people who have made a mark with their work in that particular area, and we all know this, those who listen to radio regularly, whichever channel you listen to. And I'm a person who keeps on listening all the channels, and on an average I listen to at least on a daily basis 6 to 7 radio stations, switching on from here to there. So many of the students may also be in that kind of habit who particularly want to make a career in radio. So Swati has a vast experience now working in Red FM as an RJ. So I think whatever experience she will be sharing with the students, all that will be benefit to all those who want to make a career in media and particularly radio. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for the kind words, sir. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Tina Bora to introduce the guest. On to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Yuvraj. We are indeed fortunate to have with us today an extremely adept celebrity radio professional, RJ Swati, who has been riding the nation's airwaves on 93.5 Red FM since the past 15 years. Whether it is taking up the issues plaguing Delhi NCR or holding the authorities accountable for them, or chatting up with Bollywood stars, she gets the job done with her wit and spontaneity. She is also a TEDx speaker, celebrity TV debater, podcaster, and host. She has also been awarded as the best RJ by the prestigious Newspapers Association of India. RJ Swati, welcome to DME. We are really excited to listen to you speak about the changing landscape of the radio industry during this pandemic. I would also like to mention to the students that following RJ Swati's lecture, there will be a Q&A session which I will be moderating. So I request the students to post their questions in the chat box. Over to you, Swati.
First of all, thank you so much, Seenam, for such a beautiful welcome. And Saxena sir, I cannot believe it that I'm doing this here. So for those of you who do not know, I have been taught by Saxena sir. My journalism and mass comm has happened, not just the bachelor's degree, but my master's, my PG diploma has also happened, through his very, very experienced and fruitful, knowledgeable hands. And it's an absolute mad and wild feeling to be doing this for your own, dean. He's the head of the journalism department for my university. So this is bizarre and crazy. I'm so glad that you trusted me, first of all, to be able to deliver something like this. And now coming to the whole this seminar that we're sort of hosting, one thing is very clear, which we are witnessing all around us, that everything is impacted. Businesses, life, society, mental health, everything is impacted. So for radio as a medium, which is explicitly known as a medium, which is a theater of mind, I think one of the reasons why radio has been really, fulfilling that void that we've been feeling in the last 1 year of being inside the house, literally being lonely, has been filled up by the same person who's known to talk inside a studio alone. That's what Arjuna made a lot of fun of the fact that, tum log to ek mic ko dekh ke baat karte ho. But that is the challenge, that is the boon, that is the bane of the job. And this is the reason why I think radio hit personally to a lot of people, and as a result, we got to know not just in India, the listenership went up world over, across UK, US, to Australia, to Spain, Italy. Every country witnessed a surge in the radio listenership over the past 1 year, which was very ironical because just about a year ago, we've been debating, is radio a dying medium? Is radio still relevant in today's time? And I think somehow, like every tragedy is also something which teaches us with something. In the past 1 year, we really discovered, because, as radio professionals, we also kept asking ourselves that how long, how far, OTT mediums coming in, digital space coming in. But the COVID pandemic made us realize what is it that makes radio so timeless and so powerful at the same time. It is the ability to give out information, the ability to for a common man to have access to a radio, which is also very, very cheap. And the very fact that radio as a medium is trusted for not just giving entertainment, but giving you the correct information. So somehow, for some reason, you might just not, nowadays, we have enough reasons now to not believe the news anchors who come and read the news on television, going by the very famous fact that, not just are they now belonging to any political parties or whatever, but also because of the fact that there is so much of misinformation कि नए 500 के नोट में chip है, GPS से track हो जाएगा. So owing to that kind of reporting, I think somewhere we also realized that radio as a medium is not hard pressed in the sense of urgency. Like, news channels have a deadline to meet, print has a deadline to meet, print is slower, hence more, trust is there on the information which the print medium gives us. The same way radio is urgent, as in we are live, but we don't have the pressure to churn out a breaking news, right? We take our time. We research a topic before we want to speak about it, and we decide what is the pulse or what is the mood of the city that I am in, and what will my city like to hear. And then I will get more people who are more knowledgeable or experts in those fields to come and disseminate information. So hence there is a variety of views. Second, the kind of information we give is correct. Our figures, our stats will always be truthful. And this sort of helps because वही same information जब आप रेडियो पे सुनते हो आपको याद रहती है, अखबार में आएगी छप जाएगी शायद आप देखोगे नहीं, टीवी पे आप शायद मिस कर जाओगे because टीवी पे न्यूज हेडलाइंस वाले जो हैं उनका एक अलग प्रेशर है, उनका कंटेंट डिलीवरी इज वेरी डिफरेंट, राइट? दे हैव टू गेट यू थिंग्स फ्रॉम एवरीवेयर. रेडियो वर्क्स ऑन द सिंपल प्रोसेस कि अगर मेरे को ये बात पता चल गई कि WHO ने बोला है 30 सेकंड से खाद धोने, तो मैं आपको 24 घंटे में आप जब भी ट्यून इन करोगे बात, चाहे मैं आपको ये बता रही हूँ कि दिल्ली में वहां पे लॉकडाउन लगा हुआ है, यहाँ किसान प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है, बट मैं एंड में आपको हर बार हैमर करती जाऊंगी कि वॉश योर हैंड्स फॉर 30 सेकंड्स. It is not something that you'll be able to escape. I will be there inside your head like a worm and push that information in you. Hence, why, historically speaking, some of the legendary authoritarians have used radio for propaganda also, and as we see, our PM is also very interested in using radio. So that speaks a lot for itself. Now, talking about, first of all, since I'm the radio presenter, I'm a radio jockey, I would like to talk about the fact that in last 1 year, how radio has changed in the kind of content and information we are disseminating. So traditionally, radio was a place for music, fun, banter, winning contests, and that's about it, or hearing your favorite, say, celebrity, or hearing something funny, cracking a joke. In the last 1 year, it has been very, very difficult to, even think about cracking a joke. And as we all went from the studios to work from home, you guys who are in corporate jobs, not you guys, I mean the other guys who are in corporate jobs are still used to checking their emails from work from home. But as a radio professional, what happens is when you enter a studio, the smell of your studio, the soundproofing of it, the feeling of it, you get into the skin of your job when you enter a studio. The whole setup with your machinery, with your consoles, and everything, your earphones, it gets you into that zone. To get that same zone in my t-shirts and my shorts in my own bedroom where सीटी बज रही है या घर में 4 और लोग काम कर रहे हैं, they are going like ठक ठक घंटी बज रही है, कूड़े वाला है, it gets very difficult, right? So as a professional, first of all, trying to maintain the same sense of sanctity and making your room into that working space, and making people realize, most of the people are home, people who are at home with us, they don't understand the gravity of the job, because the medium is supposed to be something which is fun and entertaining, and they already think that they have fun in their jobs. They don't realize it's a job nevertheless, right? And a very responsible one also. So that was one of the changes that we all adapted to, and I'm so proud to say I think each and every individual across the country, across the stations, has actually delivered better. I think they have all bettered themselves as people and professionals in giving out and connecting to the people at such a tough time. So that was one of the major changes that we went through. After that comes the kind of stuff I'll speak about. What do you speak about here inside your home? When you go to office, there are 10 people, you have a producer, you have a team, you brainstorm, what should we do today? You take out a few things, you have access to sound banks. There is a SFX tray. Digitally you are equipped with so many things that you can use to add on and make an atmosphere when you speak on the station. Nothing of that sort happens over here. Here I'm here with my phone and the mic attached to it, and I'm speaking into my voice recorder and sending the links, probably emailing it or WhatsApping it. So now comes the content part, and we really got down to it, because joke करने का किसी का मन नहीं था, frivolous information देने का किसी का मन नहीं था. Nobody wants to know कि किसी ने noodles में noodle वाली खीर बनाई है Maggi में, nobody wants to know that kind of content. So now the effort was to keep the mind and mood upbeat of the city. And when I talk about city, because radio is a very, very local based medium, and the pandemic also has made us realize the pandemic, the way it affected, say, Maharashtra in the first wave. Delhi did not get affected like that. The way Delhi has gotten affected right now in the last 1 month of that wave, a different city got affected very differently by it, especially like a Varanasi or a Lucknow. So when I speak about my city, it has to be about my city. In the last 1 year, somewhere we realized as radio professionals that in the hunt to give you more information, we were forgetting about our own city. You know, initially when radio started about say 10 years ago, we would speak a lot about traffic, potholes, red light kharab hai. Dheere dheere, as more globalization happened, you know, we got more our Instagrams, we got more of internet, Twitter, and everything, you know, and OTT platforms. We also started getting a little global in the kind of language and the kind of information we would choose to give to you guys, the listeners, basically. But in the last 1 year, that really changed. We got back again to talking only about Delhi. कहाँ राशन मिल रहा है, कहाँ हेल्थ मिल रही है, कहाँ आपको ऑक्सीजन मिलेगा, कहाँ आपको क्वारंटीन के लिए मिलेगा, आपको अगर ट्रैवल करना है, ई पेपर्स चाहिए आपको, तो आपको कैसे मिलेगा? Because let's be very honest, government takes out the information, people put it in a newspaper, print it in the newspaper, and you know, person is left to his or own ability to read and comprehend it. Radio as a medium helps in delivering and simplifying that sort of a process for you guys. So अगर सरकार ने बोल दिया कि कोविन के ऊपर आप जाइए और रजिस्टर कर लीजिए, आपको वैक्सीनेशन मिल जाएगी. My job as a person, as a broadcaster, is to open that app, get that website, get myself registered, see what I'm going through, and then speak about it, and probably help you go step by step and make you realize कि आपको उसका जवाब कहाँ मिलेगा कि मेरे पास OTP नहीं आ रहा है तो मेरे को क्यों नहीं आ रहा है? Am I the only one जिसको नहीं आ रहा है? या क्या मैं आरोग्य सेतु से कर सकता हूँ कि नहीं कर सकता हूँ? So stuff like that. And I realized in the last 1 year of the simplest of the things about our own city, you know, that radio, in the aim of going local yet global, you know, the global thing, did not sort of work in the last 1 year, right? I know we all want to know what is happening around the world, but last 1 year we realized I want to know what's happening in my city. So simply like putting people in touch, very simple thing, like putting people in touch with each other, कि आपको खाना चाहिए घर पे, home delivery चाहिए, तो मैं आपको बताती हूँ यहाँ से खाना बन रहा है, I can get you in touch with this person. So we started doing stuff like this, which was, so to say, like a very traditional space of radio. Having said that, I'm saying this because if you guys have studied the change in the kind of the content and the programming a radio station used to do about a decade ago, when the private stations came in about 2003 or 4, is very different from what we were doing right now. Right, we were just running after celebrities, getting a movie tie-up done, and this is what we were doing in the last essentially 5 years, and then turning ourselves into a digital platform sort of a thing, which all went to a halt in the last 1 year. So suddenly there is no movie celebrity to speak about, there is no gym look, airport look to talk about. You know, this is the kind of tools which a radio presenter, along with the serious information, relies on, you know, to give to you guys, apart from being the slice of life kind of a thing. Now in the pandemic, what is a slice of life? Everything pandemic slice of life is very, very depressing. How do you turn that into something which is a bit more uplifting and positive? You don't try too hard. One of the cardinal rules of radio is don't fake it, right? Just don't fake it. The person who's listening to you will go like, kya bakwas kar raha hai ya kitna jhoot bol rahi hai? Because the other person is the same as you. You are the one speaking in front of the mic, but he and she, the people who are listening to you, are people like you yourselves only. This is the reason why, we always say ki hum aur aap ek hi hai, because we don't call ourselves celebrity, we don't call ourselves, like we are playing a role or we've taken up a mantle, because that segregates me from my listener, and then I cannot connect. The minute I put that divide between me and my listener, that I'm somebody who's better off than you, because that person will say, oh, she's doing it for her own sake. So this is the reason, one of the reasons why, you will find a lot of radio presenters who are always very, very real, and in the way they speak. They don't try to be preachy. They never try to tell you that I know it better than you, because it doesn't work like that. You will not be able to get through to your listener base if you sort of portray yourself like that. So yeah, this is the way the content changed in the last 1 year. Radio changed. Digital is the way to go for everyone. Look at you, how we are doing our classes in universities and everything. Doctors are taking online consultations. So one of the biggest things that we did was from the events, from the concerts that we used to make happen on ground, and the revenue sort of came in. I'll come to the money part also, how the finances have affected the industry. So we changed all of that by switching the concerts online. Literature festivals were happening online. Everything was happening online, and we did not take a minute. So the minute we got into lockdown, we knew that we need to get on people's phones, right? Not just on the airwaves, but on people's phones, because that's where everybody is tuned in. We are either on the OTT platform or we are consuming something on the phone or the other. So many Insta lives started happening. Every celebrity was doing it. Forget being a radio station, forget being a radio jockey. Celebrities were doing their own Insta live sessions. God knows, मैंने विराट कोहली के कितने Insta live sessions follow करे, and they're a lot of fun, right? They make you feel connected. So a lot of it started happening digitally. What was happening on the airwaves was separate, and there was a different content and ideation and programming left for the digital space for the radio station. And every radio station sort of did that. You would see across the country, across the city, each and every radio network had their digital wing going into overdrive. उससे पहले होता था कि हाँ, एक क्लाइंट आया है, इसके बारे में ऑन एयर भी बात कर दो, एक वीडियो बना दो. अच्छा, दूध का क्लाइंट है तो दूध के क्लाइंट के लिए ऑन एयर एक एड बना दो कि ये सबसे अच्छा दूध है, बढ़िया दूध है, यहाँ जाइए, ये मिलेगा आपको, इसमें ये है. But it changed, right? We had to start getting that kind of deliverables onto the digital platform, because that is where more ears were glued, and that is how you could monetize and get more money from the people by the power of your digital presence, right? So we sort of started doing that. That kind of content also became focus point, because not everything that you say on radio, because of the media, the nature of the medium, can be replicated onto the video, which is again like a huge challenge it was for a lot of people who are already not tech savvy or never thought that they'll have to change from a medium where you don't show your faces to come and go online and be presentable, be smart, and have the knack to deliver that information on video also. So that is one of the challenges which a lot of people felt. Some people really excel, some people are struggling, but people are getting there. A lot of stations did it very well. I think my station personally, Red FM, did a fantastic job, because we started out by getting the COVID warriors out there. Like I said, right, nobody wanted to hear to a Varun Dhawan speak, or like a Deepika Padukone and Ranveer Singh do Kuchiku anymore, right? We were all focused on this person, this category of people who were out there going every day when we were sitting inside the safety of our homes. So that is how we started out, and then it just went on. We've now organized, I think, almost about a dozen online concerts. We have organized sessions with doctors. We started tying up with doctors, getting information out, because we realized, like I said again, this was a great way of combining the right kind of monetization of great content. You tie up with hospitals, you tie up with doctors, you get a doctor on board to get them to speak to you and tell you, so like if you see, it took a very long time for India to have their own version of Anthony Fauci. Right? It took a lot of time. We got Dr. Guleria from AIMS, but that happened much later in the last 3-4 months. Before that, people really had no clue what to do, where to go. Plasma again was one of the issues where now they say that plasma does not help anymore. But about 4 months ago, people didn't know how to go about to get a plasma, and everybody was running pillar to post for it. We started doing those kind of things. So historically, if you look, the nature of radio has been that it has been extremely adept at adapting to any natural disasters, to any calamities, or any kind of a tragedy, so to say, that has happened. And radio has always been the bridging gap between the people looking for help and the person who's providing the help. So we sort of, bridged that gap and held the two people's hand and made the right person meet the right other person at the right time. Now speaking about the finances, of course, everybody took a hit. Radio में सबसे ज़्यादा चीज़ों की जिनकी ads आती हैं वो सब बंद हो गए, उनके धंधे बैठ गए, तो थोड़ा मुश्किल हुआ, especially in the first wave of the first lockdown that we all went through. I think everybody struggled, right? So did we. Job slashes happened. A lot of people lost the jobs. Salary slashes happened. But the very fact that the power of radio was realized, brands have realized in the last 6 to 8 months that how important it is to connect through radio, which was sort of like being questioned a couple of years ago, right? Okay, there are enough number of articles you can research and you'll find it. Research will be able to tell you about it. Press laws and ethics के साथ ये भी बताया भी क्या चल रहा था कि radio जिंदा रहेगा कि नहीं रहेगा. This has been an ongoing debate. I get to hear it from a lot of my TV news friends and these digital friends and all of my influencers and all. They go like, यार ये छोड़ दे, you come to TV and all. But there is something about this medium which has survived for ages, I think now, and it will survive. Like I said, because of the very fact that it knows how to adapt. Also because it is a people's medium, right? I'm here and I'm trying to convey my emotions and my feelings, which happen to be the same as you, right? And making you realize that you're not alone out there. So, this is what comes to my mind when I wanted to speak about the changing role of radio. And as I go ahead into now the second year of this pandemic, the beauty is that now I don't know how we are going to change. So it was getting monotonous for 15 years, being here on the job, and you sort of knew the game, right? You go like, "Ha, mujhe aata hai." But in the last 1 year, you've realized that, oh my God, you need to pull up your socks more. You need to pull out more tricks from your hat. You need to change. There are so many other things now that you can add on and make this content, this medium, or get this content out the right way. Right. And we are all realizing right now the different ways in which we can help each other. And to add that to radio and use the power of radio to magnify that level of help and push it out to people is, I think, what is driving me right now. I think that would be all. If there's anything else that you want me to touch upon, I'm
thank you so much, ma'am. This is very informative, and I agree with you. For the most part. Now I think we'd have some questions for the group watching us, and then I would like all the participants to kindly fill out the feedback form and get their participation certificates. Now I'd like to request Dr. Tina Bora to moderate the Q&A sessions.
Am I audible?
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, RJ Swati, for enlightening us about the radio industry. We have a few questions. The first question is from Yashika. She's asking, how did the flow of the production process change during the shift of work from home for radio presenters?
The flow of production process, she means for the sound, the packaging, that's what she means by that?
Yes.
So we are a technology-based medium, right? And that's the beauty of technology. So since we did not have producers, there were a lot of things that we could not do, what we could do inside the studio. Like I said, with the help of the kind of sound bank that we have, like SFX we have, आपको कोई आवाज चाहिए, एक sound effect चाहिए आपको अपने, whatever you are narrating, you can just go to a sound engineer, go like, just get me that audio from your bank, and I can just play it in between when I'm speaking, right? So that sort of course, like I said, these are very essential tools to make yourself more interesting, more, out there and catch the attention. This was all taken away. Also, I think we realized it was not needed. We realized that when, we would get very excited at the thought of like producing something. I mean, I still miss that kick of producing something, getting that right kind of music coming in, the right kind of sound effect coming in, or a sound mnemonic coming in. You miss that sort of a thing. But you realize that how important it is to just be able to deliver something equally effectively without getting entangled into the whole thing of like, isme ye music chahiye, iska tempo itna kar de, isme thoda treble ya bass badha de, isme, stuff like that. But coming back to the question of production process, ads are being made. There are messages that are being relayed. There are sound engineers who are working on their own. It has now become very compartmentalized. I record something over here, then I email it to my sound engineer, who either says ki ya to share it picker, audio quality kharab ho rahi hai, so like we do that, then they produce it now because they have the mixers and all at their home. We took it all back home, right? जो भी अपना laptop, अपना audio mixers, जो भी sound engineers है जिनको जरूरत थी, they all took it. For the rest of us, we jocks got a mic. हमसे हमारे interns छीन लिए गए, हमसे हमारे producers छीन लिए गए, phone पे बात होती है उनसे कि क्या discuss करें. But that sort of a thing, you miss, because more ideas come when you're sitting in that zone and you're in that zone. I mean, to be honest, like waking up at like 9 o'clock in the morning and just like sitting at home and going like, हाँ अभी brush करके अभी show करती हूँ, वो वाली feel थोड़ी मुश्किल होती है, but you have to, go like, you have to push yourself into not falling off the wagon and maintain a schedule. As far as production process, you're saying, yes, I think the kind of quality that we would have in the on air while delivering the same thing live has gone down. But otherwise, for the people who have been working, we are producing something totally different now. We are producing stuff for online stuff now. On a radio station now, you'll hear an ad ki ये सुनो join करो Facebook page पे Red FM India के या RJ Swati के Facebook page पे, वहाँ ऐसे वाले ads बन रहे हैं वहाँ पे. So yeah, I mean, that's the way it's sort of changed.
Okay. There's another question. This is from another student. what are the tools or strategies one must develop for a career in radio in post-pandemic era?
Okay, tools and strategy for a career in this thing. So information is part. Get yourself to know as much as possible, right? Like as much as possible. That goes without saying. You have to have it. Like ये ना ऐसे इज्जत पे बात आ जाती है अगर कोई बोले कि तुझे ये नहीं पता क्या हो रहा है. Know everything. When you know everything, you will be able to process and deliver and sieve out the right thing to say. That is your tool. Information is your tool. I remember when I joined journalism, and one of the first things Sushmita Balamam and Amrish Saxena sir used to do is make us read newspapers. सुबह सुबह newspaper reading होती थी. आते ही सबसे पहले हिंदी का भी पढ़ाएंगे, इंग्लिश का भी पढ़ाएंगे. Then he would ask कि कितनी अखबारों की कौन सी अखबारों की क्या क्या हेडलाइंस थी. कौन पढ़ता है ये वाला अखबार कौन पढ़ता है. He used to take names of newspaper जो कभी जिंदगी में नहीं सुने थे. And I was someone जो magazine section के आगे जाती नहीं थी newspaper पे. Newspaper भी नहीं देखती थी. She would pull out the magazine section and go like. But then when you meet people, when you talk to people, when you debate with people, when you listen to other people's views, you realize that how little you know and how much you need to catch up to be able to present your view holistically, comprehensively. So that sort of, I think, is one of the most important tools for you. Speak, engage in debates with people who have different view of opinions. Don't block them. Don't block them on Insta. Don't block them on Facebook. Don't not speak to your friends who go like, यार beef ban गलत है या beef ban अच्छा है. सुनो, दोनों की सुनो. Say and decide where you stand. That is how you discover yourself through the debates with others. That is one of the most important tools. That is also how you stay not just informed, but you also have to understand that as media people, we are the watchdogs of the society, right? And I hold it in the utmost regard, one of the major duties and responsibilities. It is almost equivalent to like a Hippocratic oath what the doctors take, or like what the police officers take when they are inducted into the services. When you join a media organization, one of the most important rules to live by is, am I being neutral? It is so difficult to speak your mind at the same time by not being swayed or swaying the other person towards one side. Your job is to stay neutral, and you can stay neutral only when you know the story of both the sides. Because when you know only one side, you will think like that without you realizing it. So you will always veer towards one side. The most important tool to make a career in radio or any media, I think, stay neutral. There you go. See, good deduction from all this conversation. And one of the strategies to make career post-pandemic in the radio industry is, do you empathize with people? How in touch are you with the kind of effect the crisis has had on not just humanity, but we are going to go into a shift. Okay, we all are changing. The world is already, it's changed already. Priorities सबकी बहुत अलग होगी है life में. So the strategy would be to get into radio post pandemic, learn to empathize more with people, learn to listen to people. And the other strategy I think would be to get yourself up out there on the digital, because radio is going digital. Digital is the way to go. There is no two ways about it. So just to say कि मेरी आवाज अच्छी है तो मैं बस बन जाऊंगी या बन जाऊंगा is not right. That was never right, by the way. According to me, radio was never only about just voice. I think it was about what are you speaking? Even if you don't have a good voice, if you're speaking sense, I think that makes a lot more impact to me than just like a good voice. Because good voice वाली तो हम बचपन से सुन रहे हैं रात को 2 बजे भी but that doesn't make sense, does it? It never made sense then to me. It still doesn't make any sense to me. So I mean, each one to their own. So, but I think one of the best strategies to make your career in radio post-pandemic has to be that you need to up your game on the digital front of it. You need to know how to handle behind the mic and behind the camera also now.
All right. So this is a question from one of our faculty members, Mr. Pramod Pandey. Is asking that radio as a medium is probably the best medium after print to express ideas, emotions, and connect with people. With the podcasting platforms becoming a very cost-effective and easily accessible option for all, kindly suggest how students can make the best use of the technology and work on their radio presentation and programming skills.
Record yourself and listen to yourself, yeah? Selfie click karte ho, video shoot karte ho. Try sitting alone in a room and recording something. it'll be so difficult. You'll have to think what you want to talk about. First, you'll think what you want to talk about. Then you'll have to frame it. You'll have to frame it. And you will have to frame it without, I'm sorry to say, without using a lot of expletives, the F word, yeah, or what the F, yeah. You will have to make conversation piece which makes sense and does not use all these helping offensive verbs, which we keep using in our language every day. Podcast, yes, I'll come to that. How the students can, like I said, one of the best things to do is just pick up your mic and record alone. Don't have another person to speak to you. Record alone with yourself. Record your thoughts. It's just like vlogging, or how we started vlogging. Podcast is an audio blog at the end of the day. Okay, and I host a podcast because that is, like, of course, another thing that we all want to go as people. What more do you do? And podcast have sort of like really opened up in the last year and a half. I started listening to podcasts way early when nobody was listening. I don't know, maybe because of the nature of the virtue of the fact that I'm in this medium, or maybe because I'm just attracted to learning or finding something new, right? I think within the university, I'm sure, because I did this during my journalism time, we had a radio semester. We went into the studios, we would record a talk, this thing, talk show, and we got graded for it. I'm sure you guys must be doing the same for your students. So please, students, like, do that. If you, for not even making a career, do it for the joy of maybe, you discover something and you fall in love with it. You never know, you might just hook yourself on, like how a lot of people keep diaries, right? I don't have the patience to do that, but you tell me to keep an audio diary. If you keep voice notes, you can, and if you listen to your voice notes from, like, say, a year ago, or even like 3 months ago, it's sort of like keeping a history or a record of your life. Start by doing that. If you want to do your own podcast, who's stopping you? Go online and just upload it on YouTube. Make your YouTube channel, record on your phone, and just upload it. And you don't even have to put your face or whatever, and just talk whatever you want to talk. Probably anything. I mean, don't let it be a rant, please. Don't do that. Like I said, make it meaningful for you. If you make it meaningful for you, whatever you record or whatever you say, it will automatically hit home to someone. You will find your vibe attracts your tribe. You will find someone who's willing to hear you out in a very funny way, right? That's how we meet people, like-minded people. So for students who want to do the podcast thing, it's a great thing. I think it's a lot of people who have gotten into podcasts have gotten into it for self gratification, because they like it. They want to do it to please their own souls. आप अपने खुद के लिए कुछ करते हो, right? So apart from hosting the show, I host a podcast called Sanskari Sex, and I really enjoy it because hosting a show is a very different format on radio or anchoring an event, right? Or hosting a TV show is very different. Podcast, you are actually alone and you're speaking at length about something which is very dear to you. चाहे कहानी सुन रहे हो आपने कोई कहानी सुनी, आप वो कहानी पढ़ दो आगे. Narrate a kissa. It's like sitting in a party narrating an anecdote, but with no people around, hoping that more people will listen to it. Do that. Start by doing that. And for me, I think the wilder the podcast is, the better it is. I think I still have to maintain some semblance of normalcy. I can't go like really wacky going to the brand that I work for like that. There's certain limitations. But if you guys are doing in your student life, I would have really started a podcast in college about, I don't know, like boys or like whatever. Like that's what I'm saying, right? It is your playground. Nobody's restricting you. So go and talk and record, and you just don't need to acknowledge also कि मैं ये podcast कर रहा हूँ. You can just upload it and be anonymous and see if it goes viral. Claim it later then.
So here's a question from a student who's asking, how will you suggest someone who wants to be an RJ, but the person is an introvert? And has there been any time when you have realized that there's nothing more to talk about something? How do you handle such situations at that particular point of time?
If I tell you something, some of the best actors, some of the best public personalities are introverts. Do you know I never initiate a conversation? I initiate a conversation only because the job hai to main karungi jaake. Otherwise, I'm somebody who just does not. I'm a Cancerian. I don't know if you know a lot about sun signs, but read up. I'm a Cancerian. but I'm not an introvert, but I'm somebody who chooses not to speak. I am very much in my entire friend circle, I'm the person who speaks the least. I don't know why. Because I go like, yeah, maybe I don't have anything to say in that particular piece of conversation. But when you do have something to say, that means you have an interest in that conversation. So even if you're an introvert, and I'm not talking about it like a nerve-wracking, debilitating introvert as like a problem that you deal with. If you're dealing with that, that's a very different thing then. But there are exercises to help with that also. You should seek counsel. And like I said, if you're alone, you can just speak to yourself, right? Start by doing that. If you're an introvert, start by doing that to yourself. अपने आप से बात करो, अपने आप को रिकॉर्ड करो. ये सबसे एक कॉमन टिप मिलता था ना मम्मी पापा से, टीचर से, कि डिबेट करना है तो शीशे के आगे जाके बात करो. माय फादर यूज्ड टू से दिस टू मी. That's how I learned my English. That when he was out there in village and there was nobody to speak to in English, he would just read it in front of the mirror to himself. And I used to make fun of him, like, kya bakwas hai. But as you grow up, you realize, right? Some of the best actors record their own scenes, and they judge it. What is an audition? Before someone goes for an audition, they record themselves so many times. And I remember when I was about to go on air, I did that, and I realized it. Oh my God, I'm doing exactly what my father said, and I just like brush him off. Before I was going on air to do my first show, I wanted to hear how I sound like, which is very natural, right? So if you're an introvert, please start recording yourself, listen to yourself. And like I said, if you start liking what you're listening, and you will be critical. हम फोटो देखते हैं अपनी, उस पे critical हो जाते हैं. आप सोचो, जब आप सुनोगे अपने आप को जो आप बोल रहे हो, तो आप सब चीजों से critical होगे. You will think about, ये मैंने कौन सा word इस्तेमाल कर दिया, क्या मैं इससे अच्छा बोल सकती थी, ये मैंने शब्द साफ नहीं बोला, क्या मेरे को इस बारे में बात करनी भी चाहिए कि नहीं. You'll start thinking about all of that. When all these thoughts come to your head, you put it into motion then, and then probably take a help of your friends. Introvert हो तो कोई तो दोस्त होगा, धीरे धीरे उसको सुनाना शुरू करो. Because if you're an introvert and you want to be a jock, then you have to push it aside and get the courage inside out and go out there. It's going to be problematic, but believe me, it's not challenging. It should not stop you from pursuing any career in any of the media field, public field. I mean, you chose journalism to come and do. You're an introvert, so maybe it's print for you, man. I don't know.
All right. There's another question. It is rare for radio channels to advertise or call for auditions. How can we start a career in radio?
Very difficult. 15 साल से तो मैं ही हूँ, spot खाली नहीं हुआ है. So, okay, so it is actually rare for people to sort of for radio stations to do auditions. They used to do early on. Okay, a lot of them used to happen. We've also done. Every radio station does that yearly radio hunt. It was a given, right? But with passing time, as more avenues opened up, right? Every youngster owns a YouTube channel. Every youngster does its own Insta live feed. Every youngster does their own Clubhouse thing, or a Twitter Spaces. Everybody's doing that. God knows, if I was in college, I don't think I never wanted to join radio only. That's a very different thing. But if I was in college and Clubhouse had come out at that time, I would have asked a radio station, why should I come to you? You want your jocks to come to my Clubhouse room. I would rather get you into my Clubhouse room and host a session for you, and you pay me this much. So, like I said, the world is your playground. You don't have to wait for a radio station to open now anymore. You don't have to wait. So what influencers are right now, about say a decade ago, being an RJ was something like that. Everybody wants to be an influencer. You have an Insta Reel, you have an Instagram, you put in 1 minute of your whatever content, whatever video you're making, and you get away with it. So one of the reasons why a lot of radio channels stopped doing these RJ hunts, because a lot of people thought, what? So that is the reason I need more people to show love for radio. See, so you show your love for radio, right? And if you want in, then you will get in. Start by being an intern, please. That's where we all start. I did not really start like that. I was forced into being an RJ. I was pushed on it. I never wanted to be one. That's a separate story. But yeah, the way to get into a radio station is just like how to get into any media house. Ediyan ghiso, CV leke jao, baat karo, make friends with the security guards and the receptionist, find a contact का contact नहीं तो अपना CV डालो, follow up करो, email करो, harass करो लोगों को जो position में है, because that's what we get to hear now from people, right? People call us from Insta पे DM करके, you know, they just approach, and which is just so amazing. You know, I wish if I could have approached someone like that in the news channel. Like I remember I was such a huge Barkhadat fan. If only I could go on Insta in Barkhadat's DM and go like, man, want an internship here with you. You know, would want to be a war reporter with you, right? Which is, it just hit me as I'm saying this कि वो जरूरी नहीं Barkhadat पढ़ लेती वो DM. But उम्मीद में तो मैं भेजती ना, right? It would have been very easy like that, right? I could just harass someone. But I know for a fact that people who have messaged me, DM me, who ask me for internships for this thing, somebody who's at it, somebody who's consistent, I read their messages, and that's how I have picked up some of the best interns. Okay, apart from the fact कि मैं अमरीश सर से भी पूछ लेती हूँ, कोई बच्चा हो तो सर बता देना, अच्छा बच्चा हो तो बता देना. But I think any media job, all of these celebrity lectures which Saxena sir must be getting done for you guys, everybody must be telling you the same thing, that you start really low, you have to work really hard in the media industry, and you most likely you start as an intern only, and be ready to learn about everything. Don't come with the mindset ki mujhe RJ hi banna hai. You never know, maybe you're so good at writing that you know you write it better than you speak it. So which is something which you will discover. The beauty of the nature of our jobs is all the media houses is we don't know what we're good at, and hence you know a program like this, an education like this in media and journalism and you know all of this helps us recognize, do I like organizing events, do I like hosting, am I good at holding the attention of the audience, am I good at writing, am I good with technology, am I good at photoshopping, photography. This is the reason why we need more such education. And our jobs, once you enter the jobs, our jobs are so fluid. Right now I know I'm not just a radio jockey. I know I can write. I write for campaigns. I know I can host. I never knew I would be able to host so well. I always knew that I could speak well, but I never knew I would be able to host a show on a TV channel, right? So, which you discover, right? And that's how you grow as a person. So yeah, I think your question was, shit, what was the question? I forgot. कितना बोलती है ना, सब बोलेंगे, बहुत बोलती है.
How to start a career in radio?
How to start a career, yeah. So please CV लेके जाओ और serious हो तो खून पियो लोगों का. Just one interview, you'll get that one interview and you'll break through. सबसे ज़्यादा यही पूछेंगे कि क्या बनना है, तो ये मत बोलना रेडियो जॉकी बनना है. इसे बोलना I just want to work in your radio station. That's it, you'll get the job.
That's actually quite interesting. And there's one more question from one of our faculty members, from Muhammad Kamil. Is asking, is there anything radio industry is doing to counter fake information, especially when it is on rise during pandemic and you have to keep informing people about different things that too very quickly?
Okay, I'll tell you one of the things. It's a very good question, Mohammed sir. A very, very apt and very relevant question. Radio industry per se, I can vouch for it, and we all know that radio जिस तरीके से news disseminate करता है, information disseminate करता है, वो slow होती है. I think we all are going back to that also as media people, you know, in whether in print or whether even in TV, or you know, some of the good reporters and good journalists, they are also taking time now to process the information, see the events as they are unfolding, wait it out, and not just tweet it immediately. Some of the best reporters are not tweeting now, okay, or retweeting something which they are hearing from someone. That this is how I see a change like that now in the reporting industry also. Talking about radio has traditionally been very slow in taking out information because we don't have that sort of pressure of urgency of delivering the news right now. मेरा शो अगर 11 बजे शुरू होता है तो मेरे पास उससे पहले पूरा टाइम है टू सी पिछले 24 घंटे में क्या हुआ है. वो मेरी कमी होगी अगर मैं एज अ प्रेजेंटर you know fact check नहीं करूं. People ask, what do? You just go and talk? No, you know, your job does not require to just go and talk. Your job requires to think about what you're going to speak and to find out about it. कितना सच है? Plasma, just case in point being plasma donations, right? Plasma, when it came out, okay, last year, a lot of people were confused. इससे होगा नहीं होगा? I'm not an authority to speak about it, but at the same time, we were helping out people with plasma requests. Cut to it now, in the last 3 months, plasma is something which has been, you know, banned or like nullified. Like it has been proved कि नहीं है. It's not the right course of treatment for COVID-19. So now, me as a radio station, me as a person, I will go and speak to a doctor and I'll get that doctor here, or maybe a scientist from the ICMR or a like the AIMS ka head, and get you to give me that answer instead of just saying like how a reporter would go like breaking news, plasma ab nahi hai. That is so, it leaves you with so many questions कि कैसे नहीं है 2 महीने पहले तक every doctor is telling you आपको patient बचाना है तो plasma ले आओ, and then cut suddenly like that. So coming back to the point of what radio is doing to fight fake information, of course we make sure that we verify when we put out an information, we make sure it is verified from 5 other sources, not just one newspaper or not just one word of mouth, but is it coming from the person who is supposed to say it? First of all, that, right? We have audio bites in which we play to give the right kind of information from the person who's supposed to disseminate that information. We don't speak for it ourselves also, if we have that option. Secondly, like I said, radio is a slow medium. We take our own time to prepare and research and fact check the documents that we have, and we follow the right kind of websites. We tell people also to follow the right kind of websites, the right kind of Twitter handles, which will help you find out whether this report is true or not. And even if today it was reported that there is this video of congregation which is happening, COVID protocols flout हो रहे हैं, वो सारा दिन trend होगी और वो हमने भी बोल दिया. So we make sure that if next day the world has fact checked and people have got to know कि वो गलत है, तो हम भी बोले. और ऐसा होता है, क्यों नहीं होता है? See, we are human beings, we are bound to make mistakes, but to own that mistake is also equally important. So for me, as a media person, I would want to go on air and say that मैंने कल ये कहा था, but वो सही नहीं है. Okay, so say something like कि कहीं एक कलेक्टर थे जिन्होंने शादी में जाके रात को शादी रोकी क्योंकि कोविड रूल्स गुवाहाटी में था, आई थिंक ये फ्लाउट हो रहा था, तो उनको क्या कर दिया, उनको नौकरी से निकाल दिया गया, बट नौकरी से नहीं निकाला गया. नेक्स्ट डे यू गॉट टू नो कि उनको सस्पेंड किया गया एंड ही इज बीन ट्रांसफर्ड टू अनदर प्लेस, राइट? सो यू हैव टू say it out clearly because it is very, very important to first fact check if you've given wrong information, to own up and accept it. That yes, what I said yesterday was not right, because everybody is listening to you. So even if when I say something wrong, what happens is, even if it is a slip of the tongue, people tweet, they tag you, they tweet you. You don't get trolled only for what you have written on Twitter. You also get trolled for, which is true for any sort of like a media person, right? Whether you're a news anchor, a reporter, or a RJ. Janta is also so wise nowadays that वो आपको सुनेंगे RJ स्वाति ने ऐसे ऐसे बोल दिया, which is not right. Okay, so what do then? You apologize, or you say, okay, I'm sorry, or maybe this was a mistake, or maybe thank you so much for letting me know. I did not know it. I will quickly go on air and like right now say it back कि जो मैंने बोला वो गलत था. बाकी तो एक ही तरीका है सर, हम लोगों को ये तो बोल ही रहे अपना व्हाट्सएप बंद कर दो. तो कॉन्शियसली मैं बोल ही रही हूँ लोगों को, प्लीज व्हाट्सएप बंद कर दो.
All right. We can take one more question, and the last question, Yuvraj wants to ask the question in person actually. So over to you, Yuvraj.
Yeah, hi ma'am. Ma'am, so in the beginning of your session, you said that you were debating that jo radio hai, it's a dying medium and all. So ma'am, what do you think about the fact that, like with the rise of podcasts and all, radio is becoming obsolete slowly, and like we know this, right? We see it happening every single day. Even like in like a case in point, if I'm sitting and I'm working on like say an assignment, I won't go on to a radio station. I just put up a podcast on my TV and just be listening to it while I work, right? So what do you so what's your opinion on like radio slowly becoming obsolete, and how is cancel culture is like a big thing, like the other Twitter mob has affected you as like like as a radio personality?
The last part, please, from the cancel culture. I missed out.
Sorry. So, ma'am, how has cancel culture and like whole like a Twitter mob thing has affected you as an as like like as a celebrity or like as just a personality in general?
So I'll tell you. To start with the fact that the radio is a dying medium. So innovation is the need of the hour, and we are innovating. Radio used to be a place where, and I have to say it, any medium dies when, I'll tell you, not because of listenership, it dies when people don't come and advertise with you, because that is where the revenue comes from. So you need to have revenue, the moolah needs to flow in, right? Correct. So what do? Then you don't just become somebody ki, हाँ हम आपके बारे में दिन में 3 बार बात करेंगे, morning show में करेंगे, prime time में करेंगे. You become that, okay, you come to me and I'll make this an event for you. You become an advertising agency. And like I said, okay, as not just a radio presenter, that you just don't have to be able to speak now. You also need to know how to deliver for your station. What more can you do apart from just doing that one on-air show, which is not true now, which is true for almost everybody in the radio station who's working in the medium. They are not people now who are just turning your shows and writing funny liners and anecdotes. If a client is coming to you and telling you that my business needs to be given to you, why should I give you? So the radio station needs to tell you that, okay, I will run the media plan for you. We are becoming a small agency offering 360-degree solution to your product. I will make a campaign on radio and make it go viral digitally for you, which will then get you footfalls, and we will host an event. You provide that one-stop solution for that particular product. You don't let him go to a newspaper. You do not let him go to a advertising agency. You tell them, we will come up for you. So something like, I'll tell you, for Vodafone, I remember this happened about 3-4 years ago. We won a lot of campaigns for it. They said, we want to advertise, and the IPL is coming, and let's do this, something like this. We said, we will make a jingle for you. We will make it. You don't have to go to some. So now what happens? You're the client, you're the Vodafone. You will have to go and approach a advertising agency. तुम उनको पैसे दोगे, फिर वो एक विशाल डडलानी को लेकर आएंगे जो गाना गाएगा. Me as a radio station, I'm sitting on this bounty of contacts and celebrities who are there and who already share a rapport with someone or the other, right? So I tell you, you give me your money, I will get the singers, I will produce it, because I am a sound system. I will not just run your ad on the station. I will make it for you. And I will make it in such a way which goes viral. That particular anthem which we made was used in the TV ads, because the client liked it so much that the client said, oh, let's just, take this, what they made for us, and put it in the TV ad. Okay. So now I stopped that. Now this person knows that for the next time, if I want to do something, I need to just tell them कि मेरे लिए कुछ कर दो. फिर वो हमारे ऊपर है कि हम कैसे उसको खींच के रखें. ठीक है. So this is where I'm talking about now, the money. So any medium dies down when you don't get ads, when you can't generate revenue. So you have to be very smart that as far as the passion for being a radio professional and love for radio is there, you have to understand it's a business. You need to get money. For that, you need to have people like that, who are talented like that, who are sort of, say, multifaceted and multidimensional like that. It is a medium we are competing. I know for a fact, for so many years, how we have sort of made ourselves into what we are. And to come to the fact of the cancel culture and how you deal with your personality, and if you are here, you listen to a podcast. So I'll come to the podcast part later, but let me tell you something. In the generation of influencers, influencers are like fast foods, right? You like them, they're good to munch on, but they give you serious cholesterol and serious health issues. Now, what is happening is, in the last 1 year, if you look at the influencers, all the credibility is gone. Talking about cancel culture, you see what is happening to the influencers. I am not somebody who earned it overnight through one viral video. Maybe with influencers, their next viral video might not work. Their next views might not come. Their next, and all of that depends upon the fact, how will they collab in future? So they are also fighting this, by the way. I'll tell you, the inside of the influencer working is also very, very similar. They have to create content and they die down because they do the same thing. If you remember Hello Shopkeeper, Hanji Benji. What is the shelf life of that? See, it became widely popular. That man, that particular Gaurav Gera is a fantastic guy. That particular man needs to then sort of walk on from that kind of level to another, to create another engaging sort of character or a skit or something, right? That is how he will get money. That is how some brand will come and collab. Today, if you tell me कि मेरे को ये brand का bag बेचना है, ये brand की चाय पत्ती बेचनी है, तो मैं shopkeeper के पास जाऊंगी नहीं. That joke is gone now. I will not. If I'm a red label, I will not go to Gaurav Gera to collab ki hello bhaiya shopkeeper hanji. Doesn't work, right? Because it was relevant then. Me working as a radio jockey, I have credibility to deliver your product information hugely. I have the support of the brand, the network that I'm working for, the company that I'm working for. and it is not frivolous, so to say, like an influencer, who get trolled. We are a media organization, right? You are a media person. That very fact separates you from an influencer, जो अपने आप में बहुत फिर हल्का लगता है. So some of the good influencers are the ones who have also maintained their credibility. Me as a radio professional has maintained my credibility. The people know me for 15 years. They know if I am saying something, they will believe in it. They will not go like कि ये Instagram के views के लिए कर रही है या YouTube पे subscribers बढ़ाने के लिए कर रही है. With influencers, that is the biggest challenge. When they say something, you automatically have that in your head. Oh, what the hell? She's just asking for views. Oh my God, look at her time. How many times are you going to watch that? Say, मैं नहीं देख सकती साड़ी को 5 तरीके से पहनो. नहीं देख पाऊंगी मैं और. Cannot. Okay. So that is the answer to your cancel culture, which a lot of people don't realize. See, when something is the thing, you need to sort of like separate yourselves and sort of like be able to see what is it that makes you different from them. I mean, they're all good, but it's very difficult for an influencer to host a 3-hour show or to host a live event or anchor an event. They are good at what they are doing, which is nice. We also get influencers, so we are like in a clashing space. The radio jockey, the influencer, come radio jockey, come personality, come the influencer. They are like eating into our business. They are, but so this is the reason why the radio is a dying medium wala aapka aata hai, and that is why you go into digital. That is why you try and get the brands to stay with you and put more money in you. You have to prove it. And for that, you need to innovate. And you need to have people like that. An organization needs people like that. Influencer, एक ही influencer है. एक brand जब Red FM के पास आएगा, उसको 70 शहरों में सारे RJs की पार मिलेगी, जो अपने शहर में influencers हैं. So there you go. I think I've answered.
Yeah, you have. Yeah, man. I mean, ma'am, you have been working at this for like 15 years, and I would say that I practically grew up with you. Every day, like while going to school, I listened to like your Red FM, and like I mean in the morning and then in the afternoon as well. I listened to your show while going and then while coming back.
Great.
Do you see it going obsolete though? Do you see radio as a whole is going obsolete in the near future?
Radio as a?
Radio, like, do you see it going obsolete and like just getting buried in the future?
Okay. So people before me have debated this. I am fortunately or unfortunately now in that zone of debating this with you. But radio as a medium to go obsolete is very, very difficult. Hitler used it.
Right, ma'am. I think that answers it. Yeah, that answers it completely.
Modi ji is using it.
Modi ji is really using it relentlessly, I'd say. Yeah, ma'am. Okay. So now, since all the questions are done, I'd like to thank you for answering all the questions very diligently. And now I'd be moving on to calling Dr. Sushmita Bala to just extend a final vote of thanks to you. On to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Yuvraj.
Hi, ma'am. No problem.
Hello, Bala ma'am.
Hello.
कैसे आप?
मैं बिल्कुल ठीक हूँ. बहुत अच्छा.
You look the same. बिल्कुल same दिखती हैं आप. You look exactly the same.
Thank you. बहुत अच्छा लगा सुन के. So thank you for sharing lots of information with the students.
Please, ma'am, thank you. मत बोलिए, बड़ा ही मेरे को बहुत ही अजीब लग रहा है. Please, you should ask us only questions and you should ask सवाल ही पूछने चाहिए आपको हमसे. No, thanks at all. Really in debt to you guys. You have helped me. You've shaped me the way I am. Attending your Hindi classes to getting to understand the news क्या होती है to everything. It has been an absolute joy and pleasure, and I feel very proud when I look back that you guys were very, very instrumental in shaping the sort of life, future views, the person I am. It's truly an honor, and I'm so great that you're still continuing to do this with so many of the students around. So that's just great, I think.
हम लोग रेडियो का पेपर जो है वो मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ अपने यहाँ जैसे, तो मैंने बहुत सारे फॉर्मेट्स पे काम किया. स्टूडेंट को लास्ट ईयर लॉकडाउन में इतने सारे एक्सरसाइज कराई, युवराज भी उनमें थे, तो इन्होंने इंटरव्यूज भी किए और फीचर बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग, बहुत प्यारे फीचर बनाए, डिस्कशन किया, तो कितने सारे फॉर्मेट्स इन्होंने लॉकडाउन पीरियड में कराए और बहुत अच्छा वॉक्स पॉप वगैरह. तो कि बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है रेडियो. और लोगों के बहुत नजदीक है। जैसे अभी भी इसने युवराज ने पूछा कि ये रेडियो क्या ऑफलीट हो जाएगा? ऑफलीट नहीं हो सकता कभी भी, रेडियो तो कभी खत्म नहीं हो सकता, क्योंकि ये केवल शहरों के लिए नहीं है, गाँवों के लिए भी है। तो
यस, सो ये बहुत बहुत प्यारा पॉइंट है। सो टू एवरीबडी हु इज ट्यून्ड इन, जो मैम ने बोला है उसको आप समझिए, बिकॉज क्या होता है ना, आप जहां हैं आप अपनी दुनिया को उस तरीके से देखते हैं, तो आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि आपकी लाइफ में आप पॉडकास्ट सुन सकते हैं या आपने इंस्टाग्राम खोला और आप एक वीडियो देख सकते हैं। सबके जीवन में ये मुमकिन नहीं है, सबको एक्सेस नहीं है उस तरीके से वाईफाई का। मतलब लाइक मान लिया सस्ते मोबाइल फोन आ गए हैं, but still not everybody uses that technology.
Wow, I think you answered this question like a while ago. You said it's a people's medium, right? So I think that just speaks for itself.
And to answer the podcast part of yours, कि you'll tune into a podcast. कितना सुनोगे किसी एक बंदे को? इतनी देर के लिए तो लोग आरजे को भी नहीं सुनते. And RJ comes for only a minute and a half to speak. Podcast सुनकर पक जाएगा. Spotify जाना पड़ेगा म्यूजिक सुनने के लिए भी. म्यूजिक सुन के फिर कितना यूट्यूब और कितना ड्यूआ लिपा सुनोगे. उसके बाद यू नीड, रात के 2 बजे के बाद तो यू नीड टू हैव योर ओन वरुण धवन का सॉन्ग्स, नो, एंड गोइंग लाइक सात समंदर पार. यू नीड दैट. गिटार उठाओगे तो आज भी तुम वही गाओगे ना, माई नी मेरी है या पुरानी जीन्स या लाइक अ मोहित चौहान नंबर. you would probably go into that, right? So you need a medium which interacts, and radio interacts. Podcast does not interact. It is a monologue. You will need that. Bala ma'am, coming back to you.
हमारे यहाँ DME रेडियो है, उसमें कोई स्टूडेंट्स रन कर रहे हैं, बहुत अच्छी तरह कर रहे हैं. डिफरेंट प्रोग्राम उसमें पॉडकास्ट कर रहे हैं. याशिका अग्रवाल जिसने पहला क्वेश्चन किया था, वो बहुत स्वीट उसकी वॉइस है और वो उसको काफी कनेक्ट करती है. प्रोग्राम्स भी होते रहते हैं. तो टीना मोहरा हैं, ये इस प्रोग्राम को पूरा रन कर रही हैं, ये पूरा देखती हैं, स्टूडेंट को ट्रेन करती हैं. रेडियो भी हमारे यहाँ
बहुत चैलेंजिंग है मैम. मतलब आई रिमेम्बर जब हमको रेडियो स्किट्स और रेडियो ड्रामास हमने पढ़े थे, तो वी यूज्ड टू थिंक अबाउट लाइक 15 years ago दैट यार अब रेडियो ड्रामा कौन करता है? रेडियो ड्रामा तो कोई करता नहीं, स्किट करते नहीं. कट 5 years ago Fever started doing Ramayan on radio at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is like a prime time, and you go like यार ये तो प्राइवेट नेटवर्क स्टेशन पे भी स्किट हो रहा है. किसी ने सोचा नहीं था कि कभी इतना रेडियो स्किट चलेगा. रेडियो स्किट में समथिंग जो 102.6 AIR रेनबो सरकार करती है इंफॉर्मेशन डिसेमिनेट करने के. इट इज हैपनिंग, सी, सो इट इज हैपनिंग.
आई लव रेडियो बहुत. मुझे तो मॉर्निंग 5:30 टू रात को 11 बजे तक रेडियो चाहिए अगर घर में हूँ तो. अदरवाइज तो आई एम फॉन्ड ऑफ रेडियो.
आप अमरीश सर भी तो आते हैं ना रेडियो पे, आप उनको भी सुन लेती होंगी कभी कभी. आई डोंट नो इफ ही स्टिल गोइंग टू द डिस्कशंस एंड टू द रेडियो स्टेशंस और नॉट. आई डोंट नो.
हाँ,
फैंटास्टिक. चलिए मैम, आई लीव यू टू इट नाउ. प्लीज, थैंक यू सो मच. मैं तो ये कहूंगी सर को भी मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत थैंक्स बोलना. एंड आई विल call you guys if मेरे को intern चाहिए होगा तो. We are joining back work very soon and we need interns, so we'll see.
सारे लोगों को इंटर्नशिप चाहिए. I will call you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Take care, and I'll just exit out of here. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, now so lastly, I would like to thank all of the participants, like just for joining the program and just making this whole session a big success. Now, it also gives me a great pleasure to inform every single one in the audience that tomorrow, on the day 4th of the 7-day development program, and like our next guest will be Dr. Hemant Kaushik, who will be speaking on the topic TV news as a backdrop during the pandemic. And the session will be starting at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Now, once again, I would like to thank every single one who is present here today with us. Now, please remember to fill the feedback forms, and thank you and have a nice day.
DME has embraced digital paradigm shift by adopting technology-based learning.
Unlike other colleges, we adopted a two-step strategy. In step 1, teachers would be preparing the videos, students would be watching them. In step 2, the student would be coming to the tutorial, clarifying the doubts, making the presentations, and discuss with the teacher.
At DME, we have invested in the best in the class academic ERP, which allows us to have a 360-degree robust communication amongst all the stakeholders, students and faculty members.
DME's virtual learning mechanism is no less than real-time classroom teaching,
wherein the students are provided the pool of e-learning resources in the form of PPTs, video lectures, and online classes in a very student-friendly environment.
There is no need of mental blocks. Online teaching is as effective and interesting as offline teaching. Let the students enjoy this new mode of education.
In DME, we believe in quality education. We take care of our students. We want to see them happy.
Mental and emotional health are one of the most challenging issues of present times. DME Mentoring Cell takes care of that. Not just this, we go beyond academic curriculum to instill the most important employability skills in our students.